Hello, guys, and welcome back to the King of Hearts podcast hosted by me, Chiara King. Well, I just want to come in real quick this week. Last few weeks have been super intense, as you know, and just been a bit overwhelmed with all the breakup stuff and like breakup TikToks and all that jazz and being a bit emotional recently, I'm not going to lie, but I am feeling like I'm coming back, like I'm coming back. It's been a month well, from recording this, it's been like over a month now that we've broken up, maybe like a month and a bit. And I'm starting to feel myself again. Like I took some time for me, as you know. I actually did take a month to myself and then released the breakup episode. But yeah, I also just wanted to tell you guys about why I went to Mexico and what actually happened on that retreat in Mexico, because everyone has been asking me what's been happening on the retreat. What did you do? How was it? How was your experience? And I have so much to unpack. Like it was like slightly traumatic, but really eye-opening. And I'm so glad I did it. It's not the first time I've done it, but anyway. So that's what we're going to unpack today. Therapy, retreat, coming back to being single again, breakups. It's kind of all meshed into one. And I'm feeling a lot of emotions right now, but it's part of life. And I'm just going with the flow at the moment. So let's get right into it.
If you love me, let me fly away. Maybe I'll come back to you. Maybe I won't.
So our quote of the week, I keep forgetting to do these quotes of the week. It's so bad. But this is the quote of the week. Accept them for who they are and not what you want them to be. And I feel like that is so true. I tend to, and I'm sure you tend to as well, look at someone and be like, oh my God, that person could be like amazing. And you look at like the future of who they could be without looking at them for like who they actually are, the person that you're looking in front of and be like, I accept you for who you actually are. Because we always put these men or women on a pedestal and kind of idealize them in a way for something that they're actually not. That's not the reality of who they are. They're actually super imperfect. They have bad sides too, but you just forget that. And you're just like, oh, I'm like so obsessed with like what they could be. And a lot of us tend to stay in relationships, me included. I would stay in relationships with the future them, accepting what they could be and the potential of what they could be instead of who they actually are, which is such a sticky road because you end up resenting them for not becoming the person that you want them to be. And that's just really toxic and we don't want that. So quote of the week, accept them for wholeheartedly who they are and don't try to change them and don't hope that they're going to be better one day and like date them because of the future them, because that future doesn't exist yet. We could die tomorrow, literally. So date to accept them for who they are right now. And that actually links a lot into why I went on the retreat in Mexico. Obviously, I've been through a breakup, yet another breakup. Guys, it's just a joke at this point. No, I'm joking. It's like, honestly, I'm just 25. I'm dating. Like, what can I say? A lot of you guys have been like, oh my God, she literally changes boyfriends. Like she changes socks. And it's like, guys, I'm 25 here. Okay. I live in London. I'm young. I'm half decent looking. I go out. Of course, I'm going to be dating. Like anyone would be dating. I don't know. I just feel like because I put myself in the public eye, I get so judged on just being like a normal 25-year-old girl who's just trying to find love and trying to date. And it's just like really stressful when you have everyone like telling you what's right and wrong. And I'm just like, look, listen, I've had 3 boyfriends in the last 5 years. I could be having 10 boyfriends in the last 10 months and still shouldn't be judged for it. If I wanted to, I'm allowed to. It's my life. You do what you will with it. Obviously, I put everything online because it's funny, it's entertaining. Plus, I learned so much from sharing my experiences online. And I've kind of, by being vulnerable, showed a side of myself where a lot of other women can relate and connect to what I'm going through. So it's kind of like, if I don't share my vulnerability, no one really connects on social media. Do we want to show that superficial side of like, oh my God, everything in life is perfect? No, because no one connects with that, because we all know that that's not what real life is. So anyway, I was feeling like absolute garbage when I broke up with my ex, just because breakups are shit. Breakups are just shit. And not only was I going through a breakup, but I was also really extremely burnt out with work. Like, and I know you can be like, oh my God, but you should just an influencer. Like, you know, you don't do anything anyway. You just go and get your nails done. Honestly, the amount of times I've heard that, like, I would just love you to be in my shoes for a day. And honestly, I feel like I do have the dream job. Does that mean that it's easy? No, I don't think it's easy. I post 7 times a day. 7 times a day. I post 5 times a day on TikTok. I post twice a day on Instagram, every day. So I was doing that for 4 years, every single day. And at one point, I literally just burnt out. I was like, I am not motivated to wake up. There's too much pressure to stay relevant, of like, oh my God, my views aren't doing badly. And I connect my self-worth with views and likes. So that's also super toxic, because when my posts aren't doing well and videos aren't doing well, and also brands are expecting videos to do well, and they always say, we want the video to go viral, like make sure it goes viral, go viral. And you're just like, I don't know what's going to go viral. Like, I'm only trying my best, and like, I can't control the algorithm, you know? And if you are a creator listening to this, you will understand what I mean. It's like, it's so unpredictable. So like, I don't have control over the outcome of my work. So it's really keeps me, I'm super unstable sometimes. And it fluctuates all the time. Sometimes it'll be going well, sometimes not. Sometimes videos do so badly and get like minus 50K views, which is nothing when you have 4 million followers. Sometimes they go super viral. It just completely depends, and you're completely out of control with it because the algorithm is in control. So anyway, that really messed with my mental health, because I was like, I'm literally not in control of what's going on, and brands are relying on me to perform. And if I don't perform, then they're not going to want to work with me anymore. And like, I know it's such a first world problem, but this is the problems that I'm dealing with. And I just want to share that. And I feel like I'm allowed to feel shit, because I put an algorithm's importance and brand's importance over my own mental health, where I couldn't get up in the morning. I was so burnt out. I stopped giving my relationship. It also affected my relationship to the point where I could no longer be in that relationship, because I was just so sad and depressed. And like, I didn't have any motivation. I didn't feel like I had any purpose in life. So I was like, you know what? This is time to go. Like, it's time to take a little chill pill. I left my phone in the UK, legit, left the phone in the UK with my mum. My mum was posting for me for, I think it was 2 weeks. I went literally offline for 2 weeks, which doesn't sound like a lot, but for someone who's been posting every single day for years, it was like, at first I felt really weird, because I was like, oh my God, I don't have my phone. Like, I was like, kind of like that muscle memory of like picking up a phone. Like, if you're addicted to cigarettes, you like want to pick up a cigarette and you can't pick it up. And don't get me wrong, I did have a phone, but it was like my old phone from like years ago, and it was just like broken and shitty and just like old. And off I go to Mexico on my own, solo trip, girls on tour, not really, because I was depresso as fuck, and go to Mexico, go to this wellness retreat. It's called Soulspring, by the way. Like, this is in no way an advert for them, but they changed my life. And I'm so grateful to Rodrigo, who's the owner of the retreat. He's a good friend of mine now. And I actually went for the first time. This isn't my first time going to this retreat in Mexico. I went last year as well and did a detox again. And it literally changed my life. And I'm going to tell you why. We're just going to take a pause there, and we'll be back after this break. So I get to the retreat. I'm not on my phone. So that's one thing that stops you being depressed, is being off your phone. If you're depresso, get off your phone, because that shit is not good for you, okay? If you're struggling mentally, get off the phone and stop doom scrolling, because that's not going to help you, because it's basically you're getting that like quick fix of dopamine, but like long term, you're actually deprived of your serotonin and your dopamine. And this is coming from someone who literally spends 14 hours a day on social media. It's not good for you. It's not good for you. So get off the social media because it's not good. So already I was feeling like a lot better. Obviously, I felt a little bit isolated at first because I wasn't connected with anyone. I only had WhatsApp. So I got there like really early in the morning. I slept and then I woke up 2 hours later to do meditation. So every morning I was doing meditation for like 30 minutes twice a day. I also did yoga every morning, self-practice. And then we also had yoga classes that they offered every day. So I made sure I was doing that. If there wasn't a yoga class one day, I would just do a self-practice. I am a qualified yoga teacher. Like that's my little fun fact. Yeah. I qualified when I was 17. I have been addicted to yoga since I was 14. It's a long story. We will talk all about that in another episode. But yeah, I'm a qualified yoga teacher. So I self-practiced every day. I also, having gone from drinking all the time, eating so much sugar at home, I just did not treat my body well because I didn't feel good about myself. When you don't feel good about yourself, you basically want to feed yourself with sugar, alcohol, whatever it is. I just was abusing my body completely and I wasn't giving it the nutrients that it needed. So when I went on the retreat, I didn't realize they had put me on a special diet. No sugar, no lactose, and no gluten. So can you imagine the headaches of withdrawals I was having for the first 3 days? I had such a raging headache. Like if you've ever had a hangover, imagine having a hangover times 20. Sugar is the most addictive substance in the whole world. And I was there coming straight out of a breakup, sugar loaded before I got there, alcohol loaded too, because alcohol is sugar, going to like no phone, no sugar, no gluten, no alcohol, no nothing, no one. It was difficult, okay? I was not in a good headspace. And to be honest, I actually got so sick. I was fine for the first 2 days, but then on the third day, I had a really bad nightmare. And I woke up during the middle of the night with really bad stomach pain. And I started getting really bad pain in my stomach. And I know that pain. That pain is I've had that pain before. But basically, I had raging diarrhea. I was vomiting. It was awful. Like, I have not felt that bad physically probably ever in my life. I was screaming in pain. My stomach just had acid inside it. And the doctors told me, because it's kind of a homeopathic place, it's very much like wellness. And they say that all the stuck emotions, if you don't release it, turns into physical illness. So basically what had been happening is that all these emotions finally are coming and bubbling up to the surface because I'm now dealing with them. And because of that, I got really sick. And what I had to do was purge the emotions. And so I had to vomit it out. Like I saw this healer that works with magnets and he looked at my tongue. I had to like put my tongue out like that. And he basically looked at my tongue and you can see what's happening in your lower intestine, what is happening in your gut. You can see everything that's happening in your gut, like toxins and stuff on your tongue. And he told me that it's super dirty, like your gut. And you need to basically what your body is doing. The reason why you've got the shits and you're vomiting profusely is because your body's getting rid of all the toxins. Like it's trying to flush it all out. So I was like, fuck, I'm actually understanding my body now. Like your body knows you better than you know yourself. And that's another thing. So I was super, super ill and I was super weak. All the toxins that I had back in London, all of it just came to the surface and I just got really, really sick. Luckily, there were doctors at the clinic. So you basically stay in a hotel which has a doctor's clinic inside it. And you go for biomedical therapies. So you'll have IV drips. I had IVs every day. And when I was super, super ill in 3 days, I was there for 9 days. So for those 3 days, I had like so many IVs with like vitamin C. Like they basically prescribed me like a special amount. I'm not going to lie, the retreat was expensive. It was expensive. It was like a lot of money. So definitely save up that casharoonie if you are thinking of going, because it's not cheap. I'm not going to go into specifics, but it was thousands for like the week and the flights as well. So it's like, it's the most expensive trip I've ever been on, but it obviously it's for it was for my mental health. So it was worth it because your mental health and your health is so much more important than money. So anyway, it was worth every single penny of my money. Like I would go again and spend the same amount of money, if not more, for this retreat. So every day I had biomedical therapies. I saw a doctor every day, every morning to check in. Also, I had massages. I had sound gongs, like gong sound baths. So this girl came in with sound baths and like you basically listen to these gongs playing, and it's made me cry because you don't realize how powerful vibrations are, like sound vibrations in your ear can actually release stuck emotion as well. So that was cool. There's also a pool. There was like, I feel like I'm selling this place, but like honestly, if you're going through a rough time, you need to go to this place. Like it saved me, you know, from going somewhere really dark. And I also did this thing called Temazcal, which I spoke about in a few episodes ago. And Temazcal is a traditional Mexican therapy, and it's the most difficult experience I have ever been through in my life, emotionally, in a matter of 3 hours. No drugs are involved. It's purely meditation. But what it is you go inside, for example, okay, I'm going to try and explain the situation. What it is for healing purposes. It's what the Mayans used to do when they wanted to heal. Like this is the old communities back like hundreds of years ago. And they basically went to heal their traumas and just so like basically heal themselves so that they can get rid of any stuck emotions inside them, deal with trauma, deal with anything that's going on with your life. Or even if you're not going through anything in your life, it's just really good to connect with Mother Nature and connect to yourself. It's basically you go inside a big hot kiln, like an oven. Imagine like a massive pizza oven that you go into, like you can go like 5-6 people. I went on my own with 2 shamans. They're amazing. Love them so much. It's going to go back in October and see them again because they are the best people ever. And they guided me through it super well. And I've done a Temazcal before. This is my second Temazcal. The first one that I did last year on the retreat last year was honestly great. This year, I saw the devil. This year, I literally went through hell and back. It was so difficult. And I'm going to tell you why. So basically, you go in this pizza oven. That's the best way I can explain it. Look it up. Temazcal, Temazcal, if you want to know more about it. I 100% please go and do it once in your life. It will just help you clear anything that's stuck in your mind or whatever. It's just, it really helps with emotional disconnectedness and brings you back to yourself and makes you more connected to your soul, if you believe in that. If you don't, I do personally, but yeah. You go in with a shaman. You're basically entering, it's supposed to signify the woman's womb, Mother Nature's uterus, and you go in with all your baggage, and when you come out, you're basically being reborn out of the mother's uterus into the world again. So you go in and you do all the healing work, and then you come out 2.5 hours later, depending on how much work you need to do. And what the shaman guides you through is 4 different portals. So you have the 4 elements: air, water, fire, and earth. And the shaman takes you through those 4 elements in your journey through the Temazcal whilst meditating under extreme, this is what I forgot to tell you, you're in pitch black. It's pitch black in there. They turn all the lights out. There's like a sheet that covers the entrance and you're in pitch black. And not only are you in pitch black, in a very small space, and I'm claustrophobic, so if I can do it, you can do it. Plus it's 50 degrees Celsius. It's like boiling hot. Like it's uncomfortable. They have coal and they burn the coal inside the oven. So you're literally in an oven. It's hot, it's uncomfortable. And that's the point of it. It's supposed to make you uncomfortable so that all those emotions inside of you, because you're so uncomfortable, rise to the surface. And when they rise to the surface, that is when you start facing them. So we started with water. No, we started with fire was the first element that we dealt with. I can't remember the animal that came in. So basically each element has an animal, a spirit animal connected to the element. One of them is jaguar, one of them is the snake, one of them is a bird. I can't remember the name of the bird. I did this all in Spanish because I speak Spanish fluently. So I did the whole temazcal in Spanish. And she guided me through, and in each portal you speak to the animal and you ask the animal, the spirit animal, to help you with what you're going through. So whilst you're meditating, she's basically singing or chanting, the shaman, and you're singing and chanting with the shaman. And while singing and chanting, you're meditating and asking the spirit animal, please bring me what I want to deal with right now. And boy, was I dealt a lot of cards in that temazcal. It was so difficult. When I was in the water portal, I ended up literally like took this bucket of water, because you have the water to like connect you to the element of water. And I was screaming into the bucket, like screaming and crying. Like the shaman was just like, let go of any anger, any frustration. Because I had anger and frustration in me. I'd just been through a breakup. I was angry and frustrated that it failed. I was angry and upset that it didn't go as I wanted it to go. And I was also angry and upset at myself in my career. Like, why am I my worst critic? Like, so many things. I'm not going to go into the specifics. I do think I'm allowed to keep some things private. And a lot of those things are like very personal to me. But anyway, I was screaming into that bucket of water, like so loud. I don't think I've ever screamed that loud. I was angry screaming. Like, I've never screamed with that power ever in my life. And I think as humans, we need to scream more. Like, you need to let it out somehow. Like, anger and frustration are normal emotions to have. Like, of course, they're difficult emotions, but I feel like we sit with them and we push them down and we don't let them out. Like, maybe you let them out through boxing. You don't have to scream, but like letting that anger and frustration out is so important to deal with that emotion, because otherwise it just stays stuck inside you and you become violent. I don't know, when you get drunk and that's how it comes out, and you can hit people and like, I don't know. Anyway, so I was screaming and crying in the bucket, and so we stopped that, and I was like crying on the floor with my belly on the floor, like screaming and crying on the floor. And the shaman was like, just breathe, like let it go, like let all these emotions go. And I did. And also in between each portal, you have a break. So they open the door, you breathe like fresh air, and you have water. So it's not complete torture. You do have like breaks every 25, 30 minutes of like drinking water and hydrating yourself, because you're sweating a lot and you can get really dizzy and lightheaded. Yeah. And then basically I think it was the second last, I think it was air, or was it earth? I can't remember. One of the portals. I saw the devil, and I shit you not, I saw its face, and that devil was inside me. And believe what you want, but I saw it with my eyes. If you don't want to believe me, that's fine. And I'm not saying it was the devil like in Jesus Christ, like in religion, and I do wear the cross. I am Catholic. I don't practice it, but I believe that there is like a God out there, whatever you call it, Allah, God, or the universe. And there is also the dark side, like the devil and all the dark spirits and stuff. There's energies everywhere. No matter if you're religious or not, there's energies everywhere. And when you're in a dark place, you can sometimes attract dark energies, and those energies can enter your body. And I had a dark energy inside me that was clearly stuck in there, and the shaman got rid of it. And she blew on this like, kind of looks like a big shell, and she blew in it, and it made this like really loud noise and really uncomfortable. It was right in my ear. And when she blew the noise, I just saw this like devil figure, or this spirit, like this black face with green eyes and like two horns, like looking at me. And it just literally came out my body like that. And I was so traumatized. I had to tell her to stop. I was like, stop, 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 stop. And she stopped. And I was like, I'm so scared. Like, is this that I just saw something? Like, is that still in here? And what was that? And she was like, that was just a dark energy. That's fine. Like, we got rid of it now. Like, we got rid of it. It's gone. Because basically all those dark energies, when you're in the womb with shamans, you're basically asking them to leave. You're like, please leave. So they have no other choice but leave your body. Unfortunately, it's quite a difficult experience to go through. I felt I was freaking being, what is that word when you're going through a exorcism? And I wasn't going through an exorcism. It was just really painful and I was screaming and crying. But that was inside me and it was really scary. And that's not to say, I don't want this experience to scare you from doing Temascal, and it's no drugs involved. This is pure meditation, guys. Like, this is just meditation. There were no drugs involved in this. But it's when you connect to your breath, you connect to your soul, you connect to your body, and you face things that you don't want to face. You face energies. Maybe that devil was part of me and I finally let it go. Maybe that energy was part of me. You know, you have your angel and your devil on each side of your shoulder. And I just had to look at my shadows and I had to look at the devil inside me and face it face to face. And I did. And that's not to say that my healing process is over. I'm still healing now. Like, that was just the beginning. End of the Temascal, I was super overwhelmed by everything that I had faced in the last 3.5 hours meditating and being in such uncomfortable like conditions. I couldn't go to sleep that night because I saw that face and it really scared me. The next day I had to then see a therapist to go through what I had been through and like process everything. And what he said was, it could be a dark energy, but it most likely is probably just a part of you that you didn't want to face, your shadow side. We all have it. No one's perfect. You're not perfect. I'm not perfect. We all have a darkness inside of us. And honestly, life isn't life without the darkness. You can't have light without darkness. You can't have day without night. And I feel like we're so conditioned to only focus on the light that we tend to neglect the darkness, but we need to accept the darkness in order for that light to shine even brighter. So yeah, so it was like an amazing experience. I'm so glad I did it. I'm definitely going to do it again. It was difficult, don't get me wrong. And I have friends and people that I've done Temascal and have had a beautiful experience because they didn't have so much baggage when they went in. And also when I went and did Temascal, I had the intention of wanting to face my shadows. So the Temascal literally gave me what I asked for. But if you go into Temascal and you're like, I want to be embraced with love and my intention is to feel love and light and embrace, that's what the Temascal is going to give you. But anyway, that was amazing. Then I did terapia neural, which is like a neural therapy where they inject you with this thing called creatine. I don't know. Anyway, they inject you in your head, in your skull here, in your forehead, in your chest, on my stomach, on my feet. Where else did they inject me? On the back of my neck. And what that does, it was done by a doctor. It's all like very legit, but it's homeopathic. So it's not a drug. It's actually a plant. And what it does, it brings up, again, more stuck emotions. So I did that and I brought all the stuck emotions up. I wrote a letter to my dad. I still haven't showed it to him yet because my relationship with my dad is quite complicated. I love him so much, but I find it really hard to express that to him. And I think he finds it really hard to express that to me. So I wrote him a letter. I wrote my mum a letter. I wrote my ex a letter as well. And just to tell him, where it all went wrong. And I care and love him so much. I love that man so much as a person. But we're just not made for each other. He's not the person I want to be with for the rest of my life. And that's okay. But it doesn't mean I don't care about him and I don't love him. And I don't think he's a great person. No one's perfect, of course. But anyway, so I wrote him a letter. And maybe I'll show it to him one day. Who knows? But right now he probably hates me. I don't know. But I mean, I don't know why he would hate me. We ended on really good terms. But, people get resentful after a breakup. And for some reason, I can't judge him for the way that he's reacting to the situation. And he can react how he wants. But I did that Mexico trip and it really changed my life. I meditate now twice a day. I did 30 minutes every day. Now I'm doing like 15 minutes twice a day. I've been working out consistently. I'm more in touch with eating healthy. Like I want to eat healthy now. I'm trying to stay away from sugar. Obviously, when I get my period, I want to eat sugar, but like I also am listening to my body more. And it's been an amazing but really challenging experience, the retreat. And I would a million times do it again. And I recommend you to do it if you have the time and the money, but you don't need to go to that retreat, but just to go away and be off your phone as well. I was off my phone and it was like amazing. I was journaling every day. I was like, oh, it was just like, I felt so high when I came back to London. Obviously, still healing from stuff, but I'm healing with more lightness to me. And like now when I feel dark feelings or like difficult emotions, I now am aware to not push them away, but to feel them in the moment and be like, okay, I feel really shit right now. Okay, I want to cry. Okay, I'm going to cry because that's how I feel. And that nothing in life is permanent. Everything is temporary. So that emotion is going to be there, but it's also going to go away. So yeah, that's like, it was an amazing time. And I hope you do something like this if you're going through a heartbreak or you're having a burnout or a breakup with a friend or you're having problems with your family and you don't know how to do that. Sometimes I really think retreats are necessary to just take a step back and recoup. And it's almost like turning off a computer to then restart it again. It's like we work on overdrive all the time and we don't switch off ever, especially in the social media world and like being online all the time. You're never switched off. And as humans, we need to switch off and reset. And I did that and I'm going to do it now. I'm committing myself to doing it at least every year, at least once a year, preferably every 6 months. I'm hopefully going to go back in October. But yeah, it was just an amazing experience and I wanted to share it with you and get your insight. What do you think? Do you want to do it as well? Self-care time for yourself. Maybe this is the episode that you needed to hear to take that step to finally go and do something for yourself and invest in yourself. The money that I spent on that was an investment in myself and I do not regret a single penny and I would do it all over again 1,000 times over. So I'm really glad I went and I hope you do go and do something for yourself, even if it's just turning off your phone. You don't even have to leave the country. Just turn off your phone for the weekend even and just be offline and be in the world. It might be uncomfortable for a bit, but the payoff is insane. So yeah, if you like this episode, please give it a review, 5-star review if you can. It really helps with the podcast, pushing it in the charts. And please follow the pod, subscribe. I love you so much and thank you for joining. And I will see you next week for another episode. Bye.
Maybe I won't.